Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I hope your day and your week have been going very well so far. Got a new day, which of course means a new NBA player prop video to share with you guys. But first, as always, people, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. With a new day and another day of NBA playoff basketball comes some new opportunities to go ahead and make some money. I have 5 single bet player props to go ahead and share with you guys in tonight's NBA slate. We got 3 playoff games going on tonight, a bunch of game 2s, and we also have a little 2-leg parlay to add on to today's video as well. So 7 player props in total in today's video. Guys, seriously, make sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. We have so much great content coming out on the channel right now. Myself and Ev, we have our NBA playoff videos coming out. Me and Ev, we also have our MLB videos coming out daily. Trey's gonna get started soon with his WNBA videos. So we have so much going on right now. So much great content coming out each and every single day here on the Guy Boston Sports YouTube channel. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because you're just missing out if you're not subscribed already. All right, guys, before we dive into today's picks, let's go ahead and do a quick little recap of how we did last night. Jumping on over to GuyBostonSports.com. All of our final plays and results are always posted on Guy Boston Sports. I'm a little late sometimes with how I post them. Sometimes I post them early in the day, sometimes a little bit later. I do apologize for that. But the final results are always posted. You just got to go here to Sports Picks, and you click on whoever's video you're watching, whether it be my picks, Ev's picks, or Trey's picks. They're all right there. Last night is a little bit of a weird night. We actually did pretty solid overall, but we still missed on our big parlay. Both of our single bets, we went 2-0. We did cash Jalen Brunson over 2.5 3-pointers made. We missed it in game 1. We cashed it in game 2. Same thing for Kawhi Leonard. I had a hunch, guys. I talked about it a lot in yesterday's video. I had a feeling that Kawhi was going to go off. He finished with 39 points. Blew right through that projection. Unfortunately, our 5-leg parlay, only 3 out of 5 legs hit. We were off on Cade Cunningham and Karl-Anthony Towns. Both those lines did cash in game 1. Unfortunately, did not cash for us in game 2. But looking down below, we're having a solid year overall. I say it every video just to update you guys on our record. We're doing really good. We are just shy of 30 units profit on the season in both parlay and single bet category. Single bets 206, 166, really doing solid. Parlays 19 to 42. You're always going to lose a ton of parlays. That's kind of the parlay game. But 12.5 on units profit. So we're having a really solid year overall. And like I said, overall last night, a minor profit building night, but overall we still made money last night. But we got a new day today and plenty of new player props to go ahead and share with you guys to make money in today's slate. So let's not waste any more time, guys. Let's dive right into today's picks. All right, guys, jumping right into the outlier screen. We're going to start off with the single bets, and we're going to close out today's video with the parlay. I will make sure to go ahead and specify when we are doing the parlay. So all the bets, up until I specify any different, it's going to be single bets. If you don't know what a single bet is, it's literally we're just betting this bet by itself as a singular bet, not as a parlay, not as a part of anything else. And our first single bet in today's slate is coming from the Milwaukee Bucks Indiana Pacers game, 7 p.m. tip-off. We're going Damian Lillard of the Milwaukee Bucks over 28.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. We're grabbing this one for minus 120 odds on DraftKings. It is available on multiple sports books for varying odds. As always, guys, please make sure to go ahead and shop around for the best sportsbook odds available. Makes a huge difference when it comes to making money in sports betting. Now, right off the bat, I understand there's going to be a lot of criticism on this pick. Damian Lillard, obviously, he's listed as questionable for tonight. He may not even play tonight. And if he does play, it's his first time that he has played, if we go down below here, since March 18th. So it's been over a month since we last seen Lillard on the court. But he's progressing really well. We know if he's not coming back tonight, he's definitely coming back in game 3. I think from everything I've read and all the research I did this morning, it looks like he's coming back tonight. I think he's motivated. You saw in game 1 that little spat between him and Halliburton. I think Lillard's coming back tonight. I think he's motivated. And I think the difference here is that this is not an injury like any kind of injury, right? There's not like an ankle or a knee or a back or a foot thing where he might be a lingering pain thing. It was a blood clot, which is a very serious thing. But in terms of like feeling pain when he's running, I don't think it's going to affect him. The biggest thing here is his conditioning. How is his conditioning going to be after not playing for a month, dealing with this thing, being on blood thinners? How is that going to affect him? All very fair questions to ask with this player prop. I'm still taking it though because A, we're getting a very good discount on this line. Typically speaking, this wouldn't be 28.5 points, rebounds, assists, especially not in a playoff game. Now, we don't know if he's going to be on a minutes restriction, how many minutes he's going to play. All these are factors. Again, it's a risky player prop, I understand, but I think you're getting such a discounted line on a player who's had a month off. Again, I know it's not for it's for real serious reasons, but Lillard against Indiana, and I'm going to show you guys real quick the head-to-head data here. Really good numbers. 10 of his last 12 games, including playoffs against Indiana, he's cashed the over, an 83% hit rate, averaging 34.5 PRAs per game against Indiana. And last year in the playoffs, when Yanni was out, a lot of massive games here. Now, obviously, they have a full-strength team besides him being out, of course. But really big games in last year in that series. And there's obviously a revenge factor, right? Indiana beat Milwaukee last year in that playoff series. As a revenge factor, they beat the shit out of Milwaukee in game 1. They're going to need Lillard to come here. If the Bucks have any chance of winning the series, they need Lillard to arrive, and they need Dame time to start. Look, I could go into the numbers all day long. This is basically an alternate line. The season data, 85% hit rate on this line for the year for Damian Lillard. Again, this line is basically an alternate line we're getting from minus 120 odds. All the data across the board is really solid. Of course, we don't know how many minutes he's going to play. We don't know exactly how he's going to look. My thing is, you're giving this great of a line at this value. I'm going to go ahead and take a chance on it. Maybe I won't put a full unit on it, and I'm definitely telling you guys to be cautious with this line. But you're giving me Damian Lillard at this line, in this matchup, in this circumstance, in a game where Milwaukee definitely needs the win here. That going down 0-2 to Indiana is going to be pretty dangerous. I do like Lillard a lot in this spot. Even if he only plays, let's say, 25 minutes, if he's off to a good hot start shooting, we know Indiana defensively versus guards, not the best. And obviously the history Lillard has with Indiana, he doesn't even really need to play 35 minutes to cash this over. I think that this line in particular, 25 minutes could be all we need. So I'm optimistic here. I'm definitely cautious, though, because, again, we don't know how he's going to look coming back from the blood clot thing. But I think this line is just way too low, and for good reason, obviously. But you do have the EV plus stuff in our favor as well. There seems to be a lot of extra value on this player prop. I'm going to take a chance. I'm not telling you guys you have to. I'm obviously just sharing you guys my thoughts on this one. But I think I'm going to take the chance here because, again, if Lillard comes back and he's motivated and he looks good, he could blow through this line, and we may look stupid for not tailing it, myself included if I don't tail it. But I am going to tail it. So over 20.5 points, rebounds, assists. It's our first player prop in today's slate. For our second player prop in today's slate, we're going to stick with this Bucks-Pacers game. We're going to go Brook Lopez over 16.5 points, rebounds, assists. I took a similar line in game 1. I think it was just points plus rebounds, though, not points, rebounds, assists. This time we're doing points, rebounds, assists over 16.5. Again, we're getting a bit of a discounted line because he went under in game 1. We're getting this one for minus 125 over on BetMGM, and the data is really solid across the board here. 6 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 19.1 points, rebounds, assists per game over his last 10 games. Go ahead and stretch the data out to the entire season view for Brook Lopez. A 65% hit rate on the year. 53 out of 82 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 19.77 PRAs per game this year. And you see a lot of green here on this chart. So many cashes, so much green. It's a really solid line that he's cashed. And from a head-to-head perspective, a 69, pause for applause, 69% hit rate from a head-to-head perspective against the Pacers, including playoffs, 11 of their last 16 matchups. Dating back to last year, he's cashed the over, averaging 20.69 PRAs per game. Now, again, he missed it in game 1, finished with just 9 points, 4 rebounds, and 0 assists in game 1. That being said, though, there's a minutes factor that comes into play here. He only played 20.6 minutes, which is the lowest amount of minutes he's played across the previous 16 matches with Indiana. It was a blowout game. He didn't play a ton in that one. Again, just 20.6 minutes. He should play more. He's averaging 32 minutes per game. And then again, look at the playoff games from last season here. 30, 38, 39, right? Some of these games, of course, going to overtime or being really close. But he's going to play more minutes. You got to expect that he's going to play more than 20 minutes. That game was a blowout, so they pulled the plug early on him. But I do think as long as he's playing close to 30 minutes, we're in a really good spot here. It is a good matchup. Indiana defensively versus centers this year, we know, not great. Look at the right side of the screen. Bottom half in the league in both points and rebounds allowed. Assists allowed, they actually are pretty good. We're not really too concerned. He's not going to get too many assists here. A couple, 1 or 2 assists every now and again, just throw it in there. But I do like this line a lot. I think Brook Lopez, he let us down a bit in game 1. I'm giving him the chance for redemption here at game 2. And again, taking a page out of my book from yesterday, we gave Jalen Brunson and Kawhi Leonard a shot at redemption. They proved us right. I think Brook Lopez will go ahead and prove us right here in game 2. So I like this spot a lot. You also have the insights provided by Outlier. Brook Lopez has exceeded 16.5 points, rebounds, assists in 17 of his last 18 games on the road, averaging 24.6 PRAs per game over his last 18 road games. It's a 94% hit rate. He had cashed this in 17 consecutive road games going into game one versus the Pacers. So that game one versus Indiana, obviously a huge outlier in terms of his recent run. And again, what is the main factor here? It's the fewest minutes he had played in those past 18 road games, less than 21 minutes. So that's the big thing here is he just didn't play enough in game one. It was a blowout. Obviously, with Lillard potentially returning tonight, I think this game will be a lot closer. If it's closer, Brook Lopez should play more minutes. Really solid line here for the second player prop in today's slate. All right, guys, moving on to our third player prop in today's slate. We're moving on to the Grizzlies Thunder game, 7:30 p.m. tip-off. I'm being very cautious with this series because game one, obviously, OKC blew the doors off of Memphis, a 51-point win in game one. I'm not sure how Memphis is going to answer back, so I'm very cautious with this series in game two. This is the only single bet taking from this series. It's Isaiah Hartenstein of the Oklahoma City Thunder, over 22.5 points, rebounds, assists, minus 110 odds over on DraftKings. It's available on a lot of sports books for a number of varying odds. We also have the EV Plus stuff going on our way, the expected value plus, which means we have some extra value on this player prop, which obviously is very good. Look, the line is solid. It's a little bit low in my opinion, and obviously Hartenstein, if you look at the pecking order of the Thunder, he's probably like 4th or 5th in that lineup, so I understand there's some risk here for sure. But I like the spot a lot for him. The data is really solid as well. 6 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 22.9 PRAs per game over his last 10. Go ahead and stretch the data out the entire season view. A 71% hit rate on the over this year for Hartenstein. 42 out of 59 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 25.83 PRAs per game overall this year. But the most important thing in my opinion is the head-to-head data here, and it's really solid. Each of his last 7 matchups with Memphis, dating back to last year as a member of the New York Knicks, he's cashed the over. It's a 100% hit rate, obviously, averaging 29.57 PRAs per game across those last 7 matchups with Memphis. Now, he's played them, including playoffs, 4 times this year. As a member of the Oklahoma City Thunder, he's cashed it all 4 times with some really solid performances against Memphis. And you look at the minutes played, it's not like he's playing an abnormal amount of minutes or a crazy amount of minutes. I mean, 32 minutes is the most he's played as a member of the Thunder, but 28, 29.5. Game 1, he only played 21 minutes, and he still cashed the over pretty convincingly, not consistently. If you guys can't tell, I haven't had coffee or anything this morning, so I'm a little still in wake-up mode. Apologies for that. But, 21 minutes, he still cashed the line pretty convincingly, despite the fact that he only played 21 minutes. So really not that bad. Good data across the board. The biggest thing to look at here is the matchup stats. Memphis usually down low versus power forwards and centers. They're pretty solid defensively. So that's the one thing I guess you can look at and say, well, what's the risk here? Memphis defensively should be a lot better than they were in game 1. They have the size between Jaren Jackson Jr., who's a former Defensive Player of the Year award winner. Zach Edey, obviously a monster down low in the paint, huge body down there. So that's the biggest thing here. I guess the other big concern would be, is he going to play enough minutes? I would be shocked if OKC blows them out by 50 again. I guess the biggest concern, other than the defensive matchup, would be, if he only plays 20 minutes again or 21 minutes, if there's another big blowout, he cashed it in game 1. Could he do it again with limited minutes in game 2? I guess that's a big question mark here. But honestly, all the data points to this being a really solid player prop. So I like it a lot. And you look at the down below the lines here, centers versus Memphis, a lot of green. You see Jokic, some of the centers have had really Jokic, Gafford, Hartenstein, obviously. Chet Holmgren had a big game. Naz Reid. Even versus power forwards, Anthony Davis, big game. Aaron Gordon, Julius Randle, Tajan Saloon. I think that's Turkish. I'm not sure. But yeah, a lot of guys have had success down low versus Memphis of late. So I think Hartenstein, pretty good player prop to go ahead and tail here. All right, guys, and our final 2 single bet player props are coming from this Timberwolves-Lakers game, 10 p.m. tip-off. Another series where I really want to feel it out a little bit before I go balls in, or balls deep, I should say. Sorry for all the kids listening home. Although if you're a kid listening to this right now, you probably shouldn't, because you got to be 21 or older to go ahead and bet on sports. So we should be all adults here. We can talk about going balls deep. I do apologize to the women who do watch. I know that was kind of inappropriate. Not very gentleman of me to talk about going balls deep. But 4th player prop in today's slate, we got Naz Reid. Like I said, guys, it was still early in the morning for me. Just waking up, just getting going here. Sometimes the crazy thoughts, the stupid thoughts come out when you're tired. But Naz Reid over 11.5 points here, minus 125 over on FanDuel, available on a lot of sports books for varying odds. Naz Reid obviously had a massive game 1 performance against the Lakers, 23 points. He's cashed in 5 of his last 10 games. You go ahead and stretch the data out to the entire season view. A 64% hit rate on the season total, 52 out of 81 games, averaging 14.33 points per game this year. So pretty good numbers across the board here for Naz Reid from a head-to-head perspective. 6 of his last 9. Listen, I know we're talking a lot of sex jokes right now, but 6-9. Come on, guys. Pause for the applause. 67% hit rate over the last 9, averaging 16.56 points per game across the last 9 matchups with the Lakers. Now, the big reason why I'm going with this player prop is if you saw how Game 1 went out, and there's a little bit of a spoiler alert for this next player prop, it's very clear what the Lakers' plan is. Now, they could switch things up a little bit here because Game 1, obviously, they got beat pretty bad. The number one problem that's been talked about with the Lakers coming to the playoffs is the fact they don't really have a good option for center. Now, Jackson Hayes, you can call him what you want. You want to call him serviceable. I call him less than ideal. And I just don't think the Lakers want to rely on him too much in the playoffs here. I just think, he was fine for the regular season, but now it's playoff time. You just don't want to throw Jackson Hayes out there for too many minutes. And so the Lakers opted to go with a more small ball lineup in Game 1. Now, it didn't really work out for them, which is why they could switch it up entirely for Game 2. But I'm going to go ahead and safely assume they're going to stick with that same thing there because really, does putting Jackson Hayes in the lineup for more minutes give them a better chance? I don't think so. They're going to play a smaller ball lineup, which takes Gobert off the court a lot more, which means Minnesota is going to look to Naz Reid a little bit more. He's a better fit for a smaller ball matchup. Gobert really got ran off the court. I talked about that a little bit in Saturday's video, talking about Game 1, where I was like, the biggest risk I had when I took a Gobert prop is you don't know what you're going to expect. They could run him off the court with a small ball lineup, or he could play his normal minutes. Who knows? Clearly, the Lakers went small ball, and when they go small ball, Naz Reid's going to get more of the touches. He's a better fit for them, and so that's why you saw in Game 1, he had 23 points there. He had a lot, more opportunities. He played almost 31 minutes in that game. Took a healthy number of shots, shot the ball very well. But again, we only need him here to score 12 points. He had 23. He literally could do 10 points fewer, and we still cashed the over. So I'm sticking with that. If they go with a similar game script, which it could completely change, I could be way off here. But the overall data is still pretty solid, even if you take the small ball stuff out of it. He cashed at a 64% hit rate overall this year. So I think regardless of the situation, I still think it's a good player prop. But I do think, especially in the case if the Lakers run with a very similar lineup and game plan like they did in Game 1, where they go smaller and try to take Gobert and their bigger guys off the court, Naz Reid will get more of the opportunities than Gobert would. So I think for minus 125 odds, I'm willing to go ahead and take that chance here with this player prop. And so our fifth and final single bet in today's video, again, kind of piggybacking off that take, I'm going Rudy Gobert under 11.5 points, minus 144 right now on FanDuel. The data does not support it from a recent standpoint. Just 2 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the under. Even from a head-to-head perspective, just 1 of his last 7 games against the Lakers, he's cashed the under. Game 1 being the exception. He only had 2 points in Game 1 against the Lakers. Like I said, they basically took him out of the game entirely. He only played 24 minutes. He took just 2 shots in that game. And I think we could see something pretty similar, again, in Game 2. I just don't know how much we're going to look at Gobert. I think they're going to take him off the court with the small ball lineups. He's just not a good matchup in that sense. Now, to be fair, though, the overall data does suggest it's not a terrible player prop. He did cash his under at a 51% hit rate this year. So, yeah, we see a lot of red here, but he actually did cash the under more than half the time. Not, obviously it's not a huge difference, but 51% is still 51%. He averaged 11.89 points per game. He had a really good run towards the end of the year that definitely gave him a lot more cashes. But especially in the first half of the season, you saw a lot more green there for Rudy Gobert. And again, I just think that the Lakers, the way they're playing, but they keep going with that small ball lineup, Gobert is not going to be able to play a healthy amount of minutes. They're not going to be able to keep him on the court. They're going to have to go smaller. They're going to have to put Naz Reid out there, and that obviously hurts Gobert. Listen, the Lakers could completely switch it up, and then we're completely wrong. Maybe Naz Reid goes under and Gobert goes over. But if it's anything similar to what Game 1 looked like, from a Lakers game plan perspective, these 2 bets I think are really, and you see it minus 144 for a reason. I think both are very good bets. Again, we could be looking stupid in 24 hours. I could look like an idiot, but I think it's a pretty good spot to tail considering what we saw in Game 1. So those are all 5 single bets in today's video. We're now moving on to the parlay portion, just a 2-leg parlay to close out today's video, guys. But before that, please comment 19 down below if you are still watching. Again, I always appreciate those, especially when you're later in the video like this for a longer video. If you are still watching at the 19-minute mark, I really do appreciate you guys. So comment 19 down below if you are still watching at this point. And please, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. And last thing before we move into the parlays, make sure to check out the sponsor of today's video, Outlier. Everything you're seeing in this video, all the data, all the information, everything on your screen is brought to you guys by Outlier. And the best part is they are offering you guys a special link down below in the description to give you guys a 7-day free trial to check Outlier out for yourself. It's very easy. It's very simple. It's right there in the description. You get it for 7 days free. You get access to all the data and all the information in here. After that, you do have to pay a monthly subscription fee, but it's totally worth it. And honestly, it's going to make you a better sports bettor and potentially win you some more money. So make sure to go ahead and check out Outlier. Again, link down below in the description. 7-day free trial when you use that link. Thank you to Outlier for being a fantastic sponsor of the Player Prop video series all season long. All right, guys, first leg of our two-leg parlay, we're going back to the Bucks-Pacers game. Again, 7 p.m. tip-off. We're going Giannis Antetokounmpo of the Milwaukee Bucks over 29.5 points, minus 205 over on FanDuel. We are using FanDuel for today's parlay. Look, I think this prop works either way. If Damian Lillard somehow does not play tonight, Giannis, it just kind of honestly probably makes it better for him. He had 36 points in game one without Dame. Actually, we can go ahead and look at the numbers this year without Damian Lillard, just to go ahead and show you guys what that looks like just in case. A 65% hit rate this year when Lillard does not play, averaging 31.41 points per game. So whether Lillard plays or not, I still think it's a pretty good player prop. I think obviously the Bucks are in a little bit of a tough spot here. They don't have the depth and the supporting cast that they need to go on a deep playoff run. So if they want to go on a deep playoff run, it's going to take Giannis and Damian Lillard to both put the Superman and Batman or whatever, both put the Superman capes on. They're going to have to be superheroes, both of them, but in particular Giannis, if they want to win this series and any future series here in the playoffs. So I think over 29.5 points here. You know he's going to play a ton of minutes, at least 35 minutes per game here in this series. He's going to take a ton of shots. He's cashing this line at a 59% hit rate this year. And versus Indiana, 8 of his last 10, he's cashed the over, averaging 36.7 points per game against the Pacers there. And again, game one, 36 points back in game one, which was a blowout loss for the Bucks. But Giannis played 38 minutes, and honestly, he shot 14 for 23. Pretty good numbers, but he could have done even more, honestly. Could have taken more shots, could have made more shots. That game obviously was a blowout, but I like this spot a lot for Giannis. I think 30 points in the circumstance that he's in should be, I don't want to say a lock, but a pretty good bet. In the second leg of today's parlay, we're going back to the Timberwolves-Lakers game in kind of a similar circumstance with the Giannis bet. I'm going Luka Doncic. We're going European heavy with this two-leg parlay, the Euro special. Luka Doncic over 26.5 points. Very juiced line, minus 275 over on FanDuel. Kind of similar circumstance. If the Lakers want to win this series, you saw how game one turned out. They're going to need Luka to really carry them. LeBron at this point in his career, I think LeBron will probably bounce back. I considered betting him, honestly. But I do think Luka's going to have to put on the Superman cape, and he's now the Laker. He is the guy, the GOAT. It's not LeBron anymore. It's clearly Luka. They're going to need him to really put on the Superman cape and really carry them here in the same way that I just talked about with Giannis in Milwaukee. Minnesota's a tough team, man. They got Edwards. They got Randall. They got Conley's still a factor. I mean, Naz Reid. They have everybody. They're a deep team. They've got a lot of weapons to throw your way. A pretty good defensive team as well. So Luka's going to have to rise to the occasion. He obviously had to get another, like Giannis, a big game in game one where the Lakers did get blown out. He did have 37 points. He is cashing this at a 63% hit rate this year. And head-to-head, he's cashed in 8 of his last 11 matchups with Minnesota. And obviously, a lot of these games here, these were all playoff games. Last year, when you remember the Dallas Mavericks, right? Look at all these playoff games. 33, 32, 33, 28, 36. Okay, playoff game, 37. So in the playoffs over the last 2 seasons versus Minnesota, Luka has been dominating this line. So I think it's a pretty good bet here. Again, they obviously don't have an answer for him defensively. We're getting at 26.5, so obviously it's an alternate line here. But I think it's a really solid spot. He's feeling himself right now. He's in a good groove. I think it's a really good spot to go ahead and tail. So for minus 275, yeah, it's very juiced, but it's a really good player prop. So that's our second leg of our two-leg parlay. Jumping over to FanDuel, like I said, Giannis Antetokounmpo over 29.5 points, and Luka Doncic over 26.5 points. You parlay both together, you get a parlay of plus 102 odds. Little parlay, nothing crazy. Two-leg parlay plus 102 odds. Nice little something to throw a little something on for today's slate. And guys, that is it for me today. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. One more time, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. We'll be back tomorrow with another NBA player prop video. But until then, I hope you're all winners. Enjoy your Tuesday, everybody. Let's go ahead and make some money.